Welcome to the Business of Pleasure podcast. I'm your girl, your sexologist bestie, Kash. And you know what? We are keeping it going. It is Men's Health Month. It is Father's Day this month. So I had to bring somebody from behind the camera to the front because we need to talk a little bit about some things. And I'm not going to lie, this conversation is going to be like this, y'all. Because some points of it is going to be a little serious, but some points of it, I want to see how well he know his own D.
Oh, God.
I want to see how well he know his own D. Because a lot of these guys be out here talking. I'm seeing them in the comments. So, you know, I'm here for y'all. I love when y'all express yourselves. But a lot of times what I discover is they don't know as much about themselves as they think they do. So we're going to test that today. And we're going to see. I only got 5 questions, Tahoe. And if you hit me with 3 out of 5 correct, I'm going to give you all the glory.
It's not fair.
3 out of 5.
It's not fair. Sometimes we be together. Sometimes we be at odds. I don't even be knowing what he want to do. So we talk about action. Because I be sometimes on go, and he'd be like, no. So you must be talking about some other shit. This must be scientific. I don't know. I feel, all right. I'm paying attention, though. You ain't going to catch me out there.
But it's good you said that, because that's actually something I want to hit on today, too. To kind of kick in, right? Let me just tell you guys, right? I was thinking a lot going into this conversation, because we've talked about men, they need to take care of themselves and mental health. And don't get me wrong, those topics are never dry. They always needed. But to me, sometimes they're so heavy that we don't really come out of it with no real solutions, no answers. But in the process of doing so, I was thinking about a circumstance that happened. Well, a friend of mine, a male friend of mine, right? He basically, 10 toes down, handles his business. He's a great father. You know what I'm saying? He's a great husband to his wife. He takes care of his family, does what he got to do. He looks after, other relatives. He's one of those people that a lot of people go to. And so we relate a lot because of that. However, I was having a conversation with him about him just having chronic heartburn. I got acid reflux. So I'm like, just check into it. Go get a checkup. But he kept pushing it off. And so I'm like, help me understand, right? Because from my understanding, it's almost like y'all will put more effort into keeping a car detailed and updated and fine-tuned, but not necessarily yourself. So finally, he does go, right? Once the heartburn got to the point where it was like waking him up in the middle of the night. So he finally went and they found his blood pressure was through the roof. So it wasn't just, it was hypertension. And essentially, he was basically saying to me, he didn't feel like taking to be like, a part of his roles, what he got to do. He got to push, he got to go, he got to keep strong. And I was like, yeah, but dad ain't strong either, bro. Right. So like, imagine, you know what I'm saying? So it made me think a little bit about it.
Notice that. Nah, y'all, women love saying that about men. And I understand it because it's absolutely true. But you have to understand how much of that starts when you're young. When people tell you that you don't have emotional intelligence or like you hold everything in, I'm trying to act like I'm as strong as you expect me to be.
Right.
That messes with my mind. It becomes a mortality thing. Like men don't like going to the doctor because they're not supposed to be weak. Women.
So you feel like going points out the problem?
The world makes us feel as if once we have something wrong with us, we are weak. And I know that doesn't make sense to y'all, but that's how we process it. That's why, and I was saying this on my show the other day, why do you think we don't use umbrellas in the rain? We're not supposed to worry about getting wet. We're supposed to be too manly for that. We're supposed to have this thing about being so manly.
Well, where do you draw the line?
That nothing bothers us. So the fact that my chest bothers me, I'm ignoring it. The same way I would ignore the fact that I'm super getting wet. Well, I got you under the umbrella, or taking off my coat when it's raining and putting it over a puddle.
Yeah, well, I do think that some of the chivalry things, I think like that's one of those ones that I thought was exaggerated. Personally, I get it, but I also feel like walk around a puddle, right? Most of the time I've seen that, it literally was a clear path on around the boat. I'm like, that was unnecessary. I understood the points of the, maybe put your coat on her shoulders if she's cold, stuff like that. But again, I agree with what you're saying, that it all comes back to some form of sacrifice on your end for the sake of her pleasure. And if it's not balanced, that gets real dangerous. I'm not going to lie, because I definitely am always asking, Chris to get up to pass me something out the kitchen. He'll be dead comfortable in the bed. We both the same level of comfortable, but I'm asking him to interrupt his comfort.
Service.
Yeah, and I know, and the look on his face, like before he sit back down, he'd be like,
Can I relax now?
Like he be touching the bed, like, because there's something about as soon as he touched the bed, that'd be like, oh, and could you put that,
Bro. Yo, I talk about this all the time, bro. She does this to me all the time, but it's fine. Listen, I don't want to complain. I love being in a relationship. It's cool, but Lord, I am at service 24/7. And the minute I start thinking I want to take a moment to myself, I automatically wonder if I'm being selfish to her. The minute if I say no, I have to process why I'm saying no.
Right.
It's a valid no.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I get it.
I'm supposed to be here to help. I'm also a helpmate. Women aren't just, I'm also a helpmate. So
Well, that's different because sometimes I think that the situation applies for those who aren't, because sometimes there are guys who aren't helpmates who are literally like dead weight instead, or whatever the case is. But I mean, I try to balance it. I think it's you're gonna be of use to somebody, especially your person. Like there's gonna be reasons that they need you, you're gonna need them. The problem I find it happens when it's not balanced. And I feel like that's the part that has men kind of at a deficit when it comes to just upbeat self-care, regular things or whatever the case is, because y'all, it's kind of crazy, and I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. Y'all do end up last, right?
Because we're not supposed to need nothing. We're not supposed to feel nothing. We're not supposed, like sometimes when I have an issue with my girl, I don't want to say too much because now it feels like I'm complaining, and it's not manly to complain. It's when she starts going back and forth with me, I don't feel like, well, with me and her it's cool because shit, fuck it. But in the past, I've often felt like, yo, am I doing too much? She's gonna be like, he's bitching.
I was gonna say, but I think the operative word is complain, because I think that word, first of all, is a little subjective, right? Mm-hmm. Because what you might, or somebody else might see as complaining, and the next person might not view it that way. But I also think it comes down to awareness for women, number one, because we're not always aware when we're hushing up something that's a concern that you're expressing versus a complaint. Like, and when you ignore when a person brings their concerns to you, that ends up leading to worry. And people don't always understand there's a difference between those two words. Like, I'm worried about you and I'm concerned about you is different. Worry is a negative rooted word, right? Concern is more based in care. So if she's not concerned, or any woman, in a situation is not concerned with what you're bringing to the table, that should be a real thing that you got to, you should never feel like you can't bring those things out without being called, I mean,
we could do this forever, because that goes into how they processing stuff too. That goes into their emotional intelligence, where their defenses are, like where their triggers are, where their traumas are. Because if I've had problems in the past, you're trying to express this to me might be triggering some shit else to me that don't have nothing to do with you. Well,
that's what you just said is it. I find, and this is what I'm finding, to be totally honest, even in coaching with women and doing these parties with women, I'm in front of women a lot. I love my girls and I'm a girl's girl. But at the same time, I always call a spade, right? And one thing I've noticed is that most women's emotional intelligence stops after the portion that is focused on the other person. So you got emotional intelligence that's self, and then you have emotional intelligence that has something to do with working with others. So you have that emotional intelligence that goes into working with others. A lot of times a woman can point out a lot of things in someone else or you or noticing or whatever the case is. But that part, that self, that's where we get a little tricky, right? Because you always say we can't be accountable. You always say that, stuff like that. But accountability requires an awareness of self. It requires you to notice that there's something I did that I probably need to own. And I think that's the, whereas it's flipped for y'all, right? Y'all have the expectation to take the blame, apologize when you're wrong, apologize when we wrong, apologize when the kid's wrong, just apologize, bro.
I don't ask you for much.
Just apologize, bro.
So.
But the problem with that, I think, is y'all have the reverse. So now you're constantly stepping on your toes about everything you do, constantly being aware of everything you say, and pausing everything that come out your mouth, because you got to make sure that the record is clear. Yo, I'm not this, I'm this, or whatever. But you don't know how to sometimes coexist with someone else. So it's like we got two ends of it, right? And I think that really what this comes down to is, and I even thought about this conversation after seeing a clip from your show when you were talking about, despite the intimacy in the bedroom.
Oh my gosh.
That conversation went down so many lanes to me because I don't think it's just exclusive to like intimate stuff. I think it's just period. I feel like anytime in any relationship, the give and take ain't somewhere matched, somebody's gonna feel, neglected, and that's gonna lead to a whole nother, you know what I'm saying?
But did you see in the comments, right? So the conversation was, if once you get married, a lot of relationships report that the sex declines. A lot of times. And if the communication is there, if you love your person, if all of those things are there, but the sex isn't, what should you do, right? Like I said that to my co-host and she was like, bro, I am not a robot. If I don't want to have sex, go handle it. Like, do what you got to do. This conversation started with a situation where people weren't having sex but twice a year, once every 3-4 months. They were working together. They traveled together. They did all of these things. But at the end of the night, they just laid next to each other. That was it. And so he would talk to her, but it just wasn't getting on the track, right? But he loves his wife. He wasn't going nowhere. The people in the comments were saying, oh, you're not helping her. If she's saying she's tired, if she's saying she's depressed, you don't know what women be going through. You need to help her through that. Bro, I'm telling you, I'm communicating. I've given years. I'm talking. How is this still on me, right? And then, for me, to be honest, I was with somebody that was depressed. I tried to talk to her. Every time I talked to her, she went further into herself. Yeah. To now, when I bring it up, it's a trigger. It's a trigger. Yeah. So now I'm scared to even bring it up. So now I'm walking around the house on eggshells.
So from what I'm hearing, right? There's a couple of things. And somebody like me, I've experienced depression, and I know that you can very well take a person down with you in the process if you're not careful, because naturally they're in your space a lot. So they over here trying to, be like this, and you just, and they over here like, yo, what could I do? But what I think it all comes back to, and, some people may or may not agree here. The bottom line is we both have our experiences that have different tolls on us. Sometimes we just have a way of making our circumstances sound heavier than yours, right? And don't get me wrong, as a woman, I've dealt with the heaviest of the heavy. So I absolutely know that those feelings are valid, but it doesn't mean that my feelings being valid has the ability to erase yours.
Exactly.
That's where I think the problem comes in. Exactly. And that's why I feel like men don't speak up about certain things, because immediately your problem is smaller if I have one, right? But one thing I will say, and this is where I want to kind of ask you.
Loud. Now you can't go. Your problem becomes smaller if I have one. How many times you bring something to your lady and say, this is the issue. Oh, but when you do this, how many times have you done? It's like, hold on. Why are we arguing about what I do when I'm the one who started this communication with you? Now,
that is a key part, too, that you brought it. I'm a very big person. I'm very big on this. I don't think that if someone brings a conversation to the table, that's their floor, right? I don't think that that's the time to air your grievances, right? And not to say that it doesn't mean that person might not have relevant things that play into that circumstance, but people have a way of tit for tatting it as opposed to really hearing the concern. My thing is, if you have all these problems, why are they only coming up now that I'm bringing mine to you? So that's where I feel like, and then
that shit that you're holding in.
Yeah.
You're not even expressing to me that these things are bothering you. So if say you're giving me allowances, right? Say you're saying, he does that, but it ain't that big a deal, right? Say you don't want to complain again, right?
Right.
You're stacking up these things in your issue bookcase. And now your issues are all over. So now every time I say something, it's
carpet bomb. They just open up the bottom of the jet and fly over and just start dropping them.
I'm ready to go. I got an answer for that. It's never accountability. It's never how do we work this out. It's but when you. And that's that. How do we? And so with my relationship, I've really done my best, and I think we're both doing our best to say, okay, what do we want from this conversation? Where do we want this relationship to go? Because every one of these conversations contributes to that. Every single one of these contributes to where we wind up at the end.
Right.
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
It does. It does. And honestly, like I said, awareness is the thing. I'm a very aware person. I'm not perfect, but I'm aware. And that lets me catch it. And that also lets me catch when somebody has a valid thing that they're bringing to the table. And my circumstance, like, you know, I always talk about my relationship just because relatability, right? We're the flip, right? I'm the person who'll bring the communication, but he's the person who's been conditioned. And I won't keep that word, conditioned, to not bring his to the table. So he typically sometimes bring them when I'm bringing mine. But then after a few amount of times, I started to realize that he's not bringing them because prior to this, other environments have conditioned him to say like, yo, you better off just keeping the peace, not saying nothing or whatever. So now because he's been conditioned to do that, now he's with me, somebody who's like, no, I want to know. I want to hear it. And now we got to work to get him conditioned to talking. Yeah.
I'm not used to expressing.
Yeah.
I don't want to come off like I'm complaining, like I'm not happy, like I'm a, girl. Like we have so many things that keep us just like this. You heard the age-old thing, men cry in the dark. We don't like letting anybody know that we're going through that. We talk to our friends and be like, yeah, yo, she actually messed with somebody else.
And in the back
meanwhile,
of your
you
head,
crying. Everybody like, yo, she fuck with that nigga.
Because they will clown you. They will clown you. I'm not even going, and I think it's worse if you on this side of the coast. If you New York coast or Philly, and they're the Philly, and you think you going to do any of that, and they not going to laugh at you.
That's what I'm saying, bro. It's actually a thing. And so for me, you're asking me to undo years of training to not show that I'm weak. And this is a lot of what men deal with on almost every level. I don't care whether it's money, sex, respect, power, friendships. I can't look like the weak one here. I can't. And now you want me to be kind of like open with you? How? I've been shut down my whole life. I'm gotten good at it.
I guess the thing is it becomes for you guys what signs you look for to know that you can, because I think that's the other part, right? It's one thing if you're not in a situation with a person who you feel like, yo, I can trust this with. But it's another thing if you do feel like you have that, but you're still resisting, you know what I'm saying? Because then at that point, you know what I'm saying, you're giving the person the labor of having to bring their feelings to the table and understand themselves, but also the labor now of having to try to dissect what you might be feeling. And that's double labor. So,
triple labor.
yeah,
You know why triple labor? Because first I got to learn how to communicate that to myself. You know how many times I had to sit somewhere else and actually process what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling, and how then to express that.
To put it back out, yeah.
How? Because those words, I haven't been taught those words.
I struggle with that. Personally, I struggle with that. And I'm going to tell you the truth. It's not because I don't have the words. It's because I just feel I don't feel understood a lot. And that might sound crazy, right? Because I work really hard to be an effective communicator, but somehow still feel misunderstood sometimes. And I feel like that's the other thing. You try to have the conversation. Y'all trying to talk about it, but everything you say, they take it away. You're like, no, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm like. What am I saying that's not computing? And even that will have you just be like, forget it. Like, it's taking too much. I gotta,
Being worried about it.
But you know what? It's funny because, and the reason why I was thinking about this conversation led me down a whole nother path when I was really thinking about it on a broader perspective when you were talking about the intimacy pieces or whatever, that there's a lot of points that doesn't get talked about or won't get talked about when it comes to y'all. Now, there's a lot of studies that's being done more, especially since COVID, because mental health became a big topic of discussion after that. And I wanted to kind of go back. I had read this, I'm always reading stuff, and I had read this sort of thing that was kind of updating on where erectile dysfunction is. Obviously, as a part of my profession, it's important for me to be current on where these things are at. So what I found is this. I'm going to just summarize it first, and then I'm going to tell you the key points. The new form of erectile dysfunction, I want to say this because it's something that's always been around. But the new ED is now exhaustion diet, not necessarily dysfunction. What they're finding is that not only do 1 in 4 men who have ED are now under the age of 40, right? And a lot of times what they find in the process of trying to figure out what's causing it is that person is not necessarily broken, right? For lack of a better terms, they're burned out. Right. So that was the one thing. Stress, alcohol, all that kind of stuff. Of course, porn fatigue was up there in the list of things, but performance anxiety. So they said these things are actually causing more dysfunction than medical related issues, that they're finding that, that they're so tired that their bodies are working against them, or they're not giving their bodies enough of what they need. So now when it's time to do, like you said, y'all on two different pages, and they're not finding that it's as much medical, because a lot of times it would be that, like some other issue causing it. But now it's just like, nah, y'all stressed. So I'm sitting here saying to myself, 1 in 4 under 40. That means 25% of men with erectile dysfunction are under the age of 40. Like, we got to let that sit for 2 seconds. And then the bigger part of it is because they're overwhelmed, exhausted, tired, right? And not necessarily getting what they need on a daily basis. So literally causing them to burn out and him to burn out.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy. And I didn't realize that your body can tell you, that your dick could tell you so much about how you feel.
Yeah.
Like, I remember last month I got sick. I didn't know I was sick. I woke up to go to work. I did my 1-2. I grabbed my iPad and my porn pillow. What are you laughing at? I put the iPad on.
You got the
I adjust it.
Oh, you talking about the I have one of those. The iPad pillow? Yeah.
What I gotta do is, you know what I'm saying?
I just haven't labeled mine the porn pillow, but
it's ready for me.
Dang, that pillow's in my kid's room. I can't even unsee it now. All right, go ahead.
Right there. You walk in every day now, you gonna walk in, you be like, look at this porn pillow.
Yeah.
Always right
it's
there.
right.
I wake up in the morning, I get right to it. Right? I turn on my porn. I must have woke up at 4:30 that morning. I don't have to leave for work till 5:40. From 4:30 to 5:30, my dick would not get hard. It would just flopping around. And I'm just watching porn. I wasn't thinking about it because I'm just watching porn. But I'm just like, yo, this is taking a long time. This is just like whatever, right?
And it's not.
An hour later, I get to work, and I'm sitting on the bench at my job. I pick up garbage.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, I'm just tired, bro. I'm just super tired. I'm more tired than I'm
normally are, yeah.
I get to the route, I have chills. I'm shaking, literally have chills. And I try to pick up a bag and I could not pick it up. And I called my job. I said, yo, I think I'm sick. I got to go home.
Yeah.
Later on, after finding out that I had 103 fever, right? I told you this was 4:30. I was at urgent care by 9:15.
Damn.
Right? After I wound up finding that out, I'm like, my dick was trying to tell me I'm sick.
From the start of the day, it was your first indicator.
You're sick. You don't feel good. Something's wrong. I can't do this right now. I'm working on keeping you alive. And that shit bugged me out once I realized
it's crazy. That's actually really crazy. But you know what? I can see it. I mean, first of all, y'all call it so many names that associated with being your second head, right? Like, so it is that. But we also have to remember that an erection is blood flow.
Blood flow.
So there's a lot of things that can impact blood flow outright, and it doesn't always have to be like the most serious of things. But if your heart is not pumping things through your body properly, like literally erectile dysfunction could be the thing to signal a person that they're close to a heart attack or a stroke. Yeah.
Or your high blood pressure.
Yeah.
You have something going on.
It means that first of all, not just the blood flow, right? I think a lot of times, and I'll tell you this, right? A lot of guys, especially if they drink, they do certain things, they live certain lifestyles, they have to understand that there's something called vasoconstrictors, right?
Vasoconstrictors.
Right. So basically, your veins need to be, I'll use it in the simplest way. They need to be able to bring the blood flow through your body. There are certain things that kind of close up those blood vessels that make it harder for that to happen.
Smoking.
Right. Different things that could so you have to get things that are like vasodilators, and there's certain things you can eat that can do it, but people don't have good water intake. People don't have, they just, like I said, they face first into the bottle by Friday at 5 or maybe earlier, whatever the case is. They're literally taking the oxygen out of their blood. Right? They're dehydrating themselves. They're taking the water that they need to keep like the necessary functions. Because y'all don't just use y'all dick to have sex. You go to the bathroom with it, for that purpose as well. And so even that morning wood.
It's like something I use it while I'm watching TV.
Y'all always got y'all stuff in your hands too.
Sitting there like this. It's like my thinking ball.
And that starts very early is what I'm starting to notice. I'm starting to notice very early that becomes a thing. It's not even a grown man thing. Boys, period, just have an affliction with it.
What would I do if I didn't have it there? What would I touch? What do y'all do?
I mean, we're not sitting. I mean, bro.
See?
I'm not going to lie though.
For y'all. This why y'all got your phones in your hand all the time.
though.
Why y'all always arguing and shit?
Because sometimes I'll put my hand right here in my pants, like just right there at that area. That can be comforting, and that could be, you know, just the warmth or whatever the case is. Like we're not doing it like you guys are doing it, just like flipping things around for the hell of it. But
exactly.
yeah,
That's what you do. You flip one side, you hold it for a little while, then you flip side and make sure the other side is good.
That's crazy.
Then you cuff it from the, all right, I'm sorry, I'm doing too much.
Not the whole. I'm about to say.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing too much. It's a routine, and it's there for that, but it's fine. Go ahead.
But literally, y'all be starving him out. Like y'all be starving the dick. Y'all got to. And I'm not. Nobody is perfect. Let me just say this. Nobody eats perfect all the time for the most part. You know, you got certain people who are very adamant about it, but there's certain lifestyles that y'all just go headfirst into that literally make it stop working. I always tell people, if you get up and you're not getting morning wood, it's funny that you went through what you went through, because morning wood is not associated with sexual arousal. Mm-hmm. Morning wood, right, is one of the biggest signs that if you're waking up on a regular basis and morning wood ain't happening, that's a sign to go see your doctor, right? There's so many things that could be at play, but of the most serious, it can definitely be cardiac.
Really?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You have to think everything, the blood is what's pumping the flow, the heart is what's pumping that blood through the body. So if you're not getting decent blood flow in certain areas of your body, that's a big indication that something could be off in your heart.
And this is the problem with relationships. Because if you know that as a woman, why are you not checking my wood in the morning to make sure I'm okay?
That's crazy. You can't put it back on us.
Women, ladies, if you are not checking his morning wood in the morning and making sure, you don't know if this man could be alive or not. That's your first indicator. You already know he's not going to go to the doctor. Check his dick.
But that's the problem. We have to get him to go to the doctor.
It's the first step. The first things first. You never heard of you never did a home blood pressure test? Come on.
Oh,
your
man.
mouth could be the first home blood pressure test.
But your mouth, that's what I'm saying though. The same thing that stimulates you getting hard for just morning wood is not the same thing that stimulates it for sex. So y'all be half sleep and have morning wood sometimes.
Exactly.
So if you're not having that, that's not an arousal problem. That's something you really got to check out, especially if it happens repeatedly. Every now and again, it can occur to anyone. Like you just said, you got sick, right? Mm-hmm. So certain things can throw it off, or whatever the case is, or you didn't get good sleep, or you didn't get whatever. But if if you start to notice on a regular basis that that's happening, that's a sign or indication that something bigger might be at play. Right. And you got to see a doctor. Like there's no other way around it. You got to see a doctor.
Absolutely agree.
I know that, like, I'll say it like this. I'm noticing that more men are getting on top of it. And I don't know what we can chuck that up to, but I just think people are a little bit more conscious and aware of certain things right now. So people are on top of it. Also, y'all have a tendency to wait until y'all at a later part of life, as opposed to the preventative side of it, where you catch stuff before it happens. So what I really want to kind of talk about, and this is one thing, because you just say, why she can't just touch it in the morning, right?
In your mouth. Don't just touch it and go. I'm sorry. Continue. What were you saying?
In your mouth. Let me be clear.
Feel my heartbeat. Like
in your mouth.
Yeah, you gotta take, you know how you do this with it?
Oh, check your pulse on your dick.
On my dick. Like 1, 2.
All right.
3.
I will co-sign that statement if you could tell me what part of the penis she could put her tongue on and potentially get a sense of it.
Wow, I would have to say that bottom part, that muscle that runs along the bottom.
You think that runs along the whole bottom of the shaft? You're saying, right? Okay, let me ask you this. One of the most sensitive points, though,
is the frenulum.
Come on, my God, that's what I'm talking about, right? So, you have more nerve sensitivity, you have more stuff there. But one thing I'll tell you that tells me about blood flow is, if I play with it and it don't do them little jumps,
that shit don't.
Sometimes you just and it just be like, maybe something wrong with me.
This what you looking for?
I want to see it. That's healthy blood flow. If you can if you could do a dick up, you got some good blood flow.
Really?
Because you also got control over it, right? You got control. It's no different than our internal walls when we squeeze and we whatever the case is. But y'all ability to kind of make it do something, right? Like, make it jump, make it
niggas,
whatever.
You trying to tell me them niggas in porn that be making their shit bounce, they're really healthy?
Not necessarily.
Because I'd be like, these niggas.
I'm gonna tell you the one anomaly is sometimes they taking things. So I'm gonna say that again. If you are not using something to kind of like stimulate that or whatever the case is. And naturally you got, that's a good blood flow. That's good reflex. That's good. It's a lot of things that's telling me. It's telling me your nervous system and your brain is connected well, because at the end of the day, reflexes or, whatever the case is a reaction. That's your brain sent to your body and told it to do something. So if you could tell from your brain, tell your dick jump and it go boom, that's a pretty good,
right now.
that's a pretty good sign.
It feels like my butt's closing, but I'm trying.
You doing a little clench? Yo, it's funny, and I ain't gonna lie, that clench is even funnier on man butt. I don't care what
That's what it is.
It's like
feels
a tight.
I'm trying to close my prostate. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, but it's. I know that sounds crazy, but a dick up is an exercise.
That's what it is.
It's an exercise. You
Some
can
people
literally
put a
sit
rag-
there,
a rag
and put
over
weight on it,
and that's how they do it.
Yeah, you literally can. So, I mean, I know some of the stuff y'all do, y'all don't realize that you're doing it, but those are also the key signs. If you're trying to do that and you're working real hard and he ain't jumping. Something is off.
Something's off.
Yeah. So I will say this though. Another thing is though, I'm noticing, and I want to know how you feel about this statement. Right? I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure I didn't. Right?
I've been trying to keep you on your toes all day. I know you're gonna get me. So go ahead.
I don't think that men are taught how to receive, first of all, right? I don't think y'all are taught to receive pleasure. I want to ask you, when is the last time you feel that you were touched with no goal attached?
Never. See, this is gonna make my lady look crazy. But I know that when she's touching, she wants dick. Even when she texted me yesterday, she's like, "Hey, babe." I'm like, "What do you want?"
So you feel like any of those is you want something?
Oh, I don't want nothing. Meanwhile, I told you I had to go pick her up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And take her somewhere. 4:30 in the morning. So she hits me, "Baby, you're used to that."
To Chris says that my thing is when I say daddy a certain way.
You know what's
he
coming.
He goes, if I go
that.
daddy, then he's like, he'd be like, yes, honey. Now, I know when he's in a mood to do it based on his answer, though. So y'all got to really start paying attention to certain things, y'all. These communication, because if I go daddy and he goes, yes, babe, or yes, honey, then it's this and that, right? But when he says it, it's this like soft kind of whatever the case is, and I'll be like, daddy, and he'll be like, yes, baby.
There you go.
And I'm like, oh, he with it. Yeah. He with it. Yeah.
The king.
But anytime he do the other one, it's like he low-key says it and he be side-eyeing, just waiting for the like, what's gonna be the ball that drop. But I asked that question because I think that there's a huge, not just a gap in y'all health and y'all checking into yourself, but the pleasure gap, right? I know this sounds crazy because the pleasure gap I feel like we focus so heavily now on female pleasure.
Yes.
Now that it completely started to erase the other side. We haven't found balance. At one point, I feel like it was heavily centered around you. And then we got into a space of saying, no, I deserve pleasure too. Mm-hmm. And it seems like somehow now this has become lesser as opposed to...
It's an anomaly at this point. Men are even attributing women that do that to older women that will just tie you up or lay you down and rub you down with oil. And, they do these things. Your girl don't normally do that. That's for you to do to her. So I even went on my show. I'm like, yo, slut me out every once in a while. Like, why do you always have to serve? Why do you always have to get served? Slut me the fuck out. Like, have it for my toes, have it for my butthole, have it for the balls, have it for the dick. My neck, my nipples, go off. Go the fuck off.
But you know what I
want to be tired.
You might though, Tahoe. You gotta, let's think about this though. It's so many guys that if you say certain words and it's about sexual anything, they automatically, oh, that's gay, oh, that's gay, oh, that's gay, that's gay. I feel like a lot of times women got to play it safe. You get drop kicked. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Doing certain things.
Hey, there's ways to do it. You ain't see Game of Thrones? You ain't watch Game of Thrones?
Of course.
Remember when Daenerys, dude was bending her over every night? What's his name? Moon of my moon? Moon of my moon. He bent over every night.
No, he did not.
He went for the, she was like, hold on. Lay down. I'll do it.
And he was like, oh.
He was like, what's going on?
He was like, what's about to happen?
She riding him. She looking at him. She just riding that shit. Yeah. He was like, oh, yes, take me.
That's how you try to get slutted out? You try to be looking up like that?
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie.
Take me.
I love when that feeling comes over me. It's a persona. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a certain mood that invokes it or whatever the case is. I will say this though. If y'all really do want that, y'all got to stop messing up the foreplay in between sex. And I say that I don't mean, I mean from the last time to the next time, somewhere in the middle, something happened. And like, it happened to me. Yo, this morning I woke up in the mood, I'm not going to lie, to do any and everything, right? And then I went out to get the kids ready for school, get them out the door, X, Y, and Z. And I discovered that in the process of him looking for something the night before, he ransacked the living room. So I just moved. So not everything is where they go yet. So, but I do have like it organized in a way that I know boy stuff, mine, da-da-da. I walked out there, I couldn't see nothing for nothing. I was like, and instantly, that mood I woke up in, gone. Now I'm looking at you with the, good morning, dear. You also screwed up my morning and fucked it up pretty bad. How you doing today? Like, that's how I felt by then. So I will say guys have a way of somehow deactivating it, but I don't think that's the only reason that women don't do it. A lot of women are not confident enough to take the lead and charge the way you just talked about. Slut me out. You know how much confidence it takes for a woman to slut a guy out? To just be like, I'm on it.
In your feminine bag. You got to be in your feminine bag and also not, like you said, and I agree with you 1,000%. Right now, I'm just coming from the guy's side, but I agree with you 1,000%. There were years I was with my girl that I was not aimed at making her come. I might have been trying, but I didn't know her buttons. So I knew how to fuck. I'm always good at fucking. So I thought that fucking was either going to get you there or it wasn't.
Or that's it.
Years in now, I know how to aim for those nuts. So I'm counting them. I'm racking them up before I even get there. I'm racking them up.
It's almost like a little fetish.
It's a game
give
now.
it to me, yeah.
I'm trying to catch coin chips. I'm trying to get poker chips.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you though, but one thing because I'll tell you the truth. I don't speak about this a lot, but at the point when I gained weight, it was 2017, I want to say 2016, 2017. In those 2 years, I got on this birth control, joint shot me up like 90 to 100 pounds in 1 year. I was like, oh. But I will say, so it was kind of a mixed sort of feeling at a larger size, right? I was 350 pounds, Tyler, like 350 pounds. And at that size, I felt like a well. Like if I climbed on top of you,
it's over.
Like, and I have great control of my body, but I was thinking way too much, to be, you know what I'm saying? Like to really own that position and really whatever the case is.
Feel sexy.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you have to think about it. For a lot of women, you on top. So now it's like a spotlight. Like he looking at nothing but you. He can't even see anything else but you because you right over him. So now if the titties ain't sitting a certain way, they slapping, you know what I'm saying? The Jordan drinks is hanging. You feeling the weight of them on your shoulders, all that kind of stuff. You like, Jesus Christ. Like you want them to move, but you don't want them to look like loose, like bags. You know what I'm saying? Bags that they were supposed to fill all the way, but they didn't fill them all the way. So it got the little crinkly thing when it hang down. Just fall out. Yeah, just fall out. I got, you know what I'm saying?
Long titties,
But women got those things. And even if you don't, then if you got smaller breasts, some women are conscious about the fact that they don't have it there. So that's number one. Now I got to control this weight bouncing on you and all this kind of other stuff. And it's like a spotlight. So if you have insecurities, they're coming out. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, I wasn't climbing on top as much in the light. If the lights was off, I might get in there. I might go whatever. Everything else, I'm throwing it back and whatever. But that position, nah, man. I used to wear, I didn't even take all my clothes off for sex.
To the ladies out there, the bigger ladies out there, let me explain something. He's with you because he likes that. He's with you because he likes that. Regardless, obviously, you might have your own issues with all that, but share yourself with this guy because he likes it. He wants all of that body all over him. He's like, you ever had a weighted blanket?
Nah, I got 2 of them out.
Too much?
Nah.
I might have did too much.
No, it's like a weighted blanket, yeah.
He likes that. He loves your rolls. He loves your face. He loves all of that. He loves them big ass succulent titties. And even if you don't have those, like he loves you for how you are today. Stop second guessing yourself.
You gotta. It's hard
with your partner, man.
You just said it because once what I did find is once you got somebody who you unlock that level of comfort with, it's on. Yeah. It's on. Y'all be in there rolling around in the mud like pigs. Like I ain't even gonna hold you. Just
oinked in the side.
Oinked there. Getting dirty, getting messy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, ultimately, I think what we're really speaking about in this conversation is not just the fact that men have the health side of it, but honestly, Tahoe, it be low key the lack of, y'all are touch deprived, right? So because y'all don't know how to receive pleasure, it makes y'all like this anytime we come trying to introduce, it's always a woman like, oh, let me introduce this to the bed, or let me this and that. A lot of guys like, I don't know about that. That seemed a little crazy. What I need that for, whatever. But I'm like, dang, why are they so resistant on feeling good? But that being said,
freak out here as a man neither.
You can't
want too much.
You can't.
Now you gay.
But I realized that the fact that y'all are touch deprived has made y'all unaware of where your other spots are. And so I want to ask you a couple questions about your body.
Let's go. I know my spots now.
Now, you might know your spots, but the question is, do you even know your D? Remember, I said I was going to find out, right?
Might not.
I want to know,
Depending on what mood he's in.
what would you call the name of that sensitive ridge around the head of the penis? So we're not talking about the frenulum. We're talking about the whole...
I don't know. You got it.
Okay.
I bet you I've heard it before, though.
Yeah, coronal ridge.
Nope.
Corona is what it's called. So the head, that part that a lot of people like to cup around, that's what that is.
The corona ridge?
A coronal ridge.
Coronal.
Yeah, ridge.
Okay, because I was about to say.
Well, some people just call it corona for sure. I've seen both people use both sides of it. Okay. Number 2, can your dick break?
Same again.
That's the second one. Can your dick break? Can a penis break?
Yes.
How does it break? If it breaks?
There's the muscle, I know this. I can't call it. I can't remember. But
So, because technically it's not a bone, right?
It's not a bone.
It's
there's something, tendons.
The penile fracture can happen, and guys should know this because sometimes y'all be thinking like, oh, it just bent, bro. It damages vessels, like blood, like vessels in the blood. Yeah, that can mess with it. All right, I'm gonna give you that though, because you was right. Yeah, you was right. You was yes. All right. True or false? For a man, all pleasure starts in his penis.
No, false.
Where do you think it starts?
Your brain, just like everywhere else.
You got your 3.
That's 3.
You got your 3. Look, you got your. You didn't hit the first one. You got 2. All right. I think you're going to get it, though. All right. How many nerve endings does a penis have?
Oh, that's not fair. That's not fair. Come on.
How many does a clit have?
Thousands, like hundreds. Right? Was it 52? Could tell me. I went from thousands to hundreds.
Yeah, 4,000, roughly 4,000. Yeah, us, we have closer to 8,000 in our external clitoral network. There's about 15,000 internal. That's a whole nother ball game.
Y'all are so complicated.
Yeah, we got a lot. Nah, it's
like me trying to like Elon trying to figure out how to run Twitter. It's just like, how many buttons can I push here to make this shit turn on?
That should be the way you go about it.
Really, that's a vagina is so complex, and then you got to look and make sure the fan ain't on. It's so much to fuck. It's like, no.
I'm mad you said the fan because
no, what the fuck?
Let me tell you, that's crazy because I definitely was one time under a fan. That joint will
dry you right up
instantly.
You all your tricks,
everything, it just. That's just, and you got your dick chafing the vaginal wall. You got dick chafing the walls. It hurts on both ends though.
Wait, did I get that one?
You did. Well, I
started with thousands and I went to hundreds because you looked at me crazy.
It's about 4,000.
I also know that the penis head is basically the clitoris. So I don't really know why we would lose so much sensation.
Well, it is, but it isn't. Like, I know that because they can have surgeries and things that can change sex and whatnot. The clitoris is so unique because it's like the only, like your penis, your head, your everything, you use it for many things. The clit really is only used for pleasure. So it's a little bit different. And then also the way the clit internally connects to the vagina, the G spot, it's because the clit, what people see externally is just the external portion of it. That's where most of those 8,000 nerve endings are right there. But behind the walls, right, you got basically the bulbs of the clit are surrounding the vagina. You got 2 bulbs right here. There's sensation in there. You got sensations obviously in the wall. The first 3 inches of the vagina have mad sensitivity as well. Tissue feels different in there. It's like a lot of, it's a lot of different things. But the stronger blood flow she gets, the more plump her clitoris gets, the tighter or more full those bulbs get around her vagina, which is gonna make her feel even tighter. It's almost like they're gonna press against the wall. So when something goes in there, it's really gonna, that's how you technically are stimulating the clit. When she goes, oh, you hit my walls.
Well, what part of the vagina is connected to the stomach?
So as you go further back, you're going into the cervix,
no, I'm
right?
talking about the fact that if you give her some food, she be hornier.
Well, it's not even necessary that. It's more so hormonal on that front. Think about it. When you think about things that make you feel good, naturally you eat something that's comforting or something that feels good, like you're going to release some serotonin. You're going to release serotonin. And serotonin is a hormone that brings the calm, right?
So that's what it is.
Kind of, you know, or first it sometimes starts with a hype because it's like, oh, I'm looking forward to it, right? That little rush. And then you take it and you bite it and it's just like
bro.
Like it soothes you.
I try to tell these men, stop talking about $200 dates. Feed them. It works. You will know whether she likes you or not if you get her something to eat.
But
let her eat, bro. Let her release the serotonin to that area.
And not just there, to her brain. See, the thing is, serotonin is what we need it in our brain. Women don't turn our brains off. Even in sex, sometimes you still overthinking. We overthink a lot. We got 20 million things on our plate. So that's why foreplay matters. That's why all these other things matter, because if you can't get her brain to relax, to kind of get that going, that's it. That's why also after sex, oxytocin is usually a hormone that surges, right? You get dopamine during sex when you get this going, so the dopamine has got that rush. But the oxytocin, the nickname of that one is called the cuddle hormone. And that's why sometimes, like afterwards, you just want to like either wrap up in each other, or sometimes if people don't like being touched, they wrap up on a pillow, or it's just a
that calm down.
It's like a final,
calm down.
So, okay, you got one more question.
All right.
And I think you know this one. Where's the male G-spot?
The prostate.
Okay.
I got 3.
All right.
3 or 4. I got 3.5.
Okay. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Why did he put it there? Can somebody tell us that? Somebody explain that.
It's not technically there. It's just that's the technical place you can access it directly. And this is what's important.
I have a theory.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
That's why we fuck hard when we're about to nut.
You think so?
Back there is pressing somehow on something that's triggering the G-spot.
Well, there's a few ways.
Pushing the dick in, it's actually pushing something back.
Well, no. The reason why it happens is when your semen goes. Okay, so there's an area where your semen kind of like stops right by the prostate, and seminal fluids are mixed in, right? So there's like a vesicle to kind of, and that's where the buildup is really kind of happening. It's not just shooting straight from your balls out. It's coming up from your balls there, and then seminal fluid mixes in with it at the prostate, and that's why it's so sensitive. And there are a few different other glands and things in play right there, but. That's where I always find that whenever you're talking to men of color about this, you get a whole nother conversation than you would if you're speaking to a male who might be Caucasian or something, because it's not as stigmatized. But I think the biggest misconception is that you have to go in to stimulate it. The prostate, putting something in the anal area is the most direct way, closest way. You're going to get the closest. But if you're only really talking about like 1.5 inches into that area, by the way. A lot of guys feel like you about to go all the way. To reach the prostate, your anal cavity, as you go in, it curves. And as soon as you hit that little curve, you right there at it. Yeah. So this much of the finger, enough.
So y'all could do the come here the motion too?
Right there.
Get out of here.
You can literally put it right there. And but most guys ain't letting that finger go in there. So the alternate... Listen.
I ain't come here to play with you. Okay, you know.
Give me the.
Come here the
prostate. Nah, it's real talk, because that's what I think also gets them like that. But if you got somebody who's uncomfortable with that, and you're uncomfortable with, some women don't.
No, they don't like that.
Feel comfortable doing it. We don't talk about that.
They also don't want a dude that's comfortable.
Yeah, they automatically are going to label it a certain way. The perineum, that's what the perineum basically is. So how we have the fupa area as our external G spot, y'all external P spot is the perineum, the gooch.
The gooch.
So pressure, a lot of times people don't realize. So you can't just passing by it is cool. But pressure into that area. You don't have to go anywhere near the hole. You can stay right under the balls and just massage and give pressures up, or whatever the case is, kind of going into it, because basically you're pushing that sponge up into the P spot. So you could kind of get not the exact, but as close to the sensation as possible.
Shaking like a wad, like a rinse cycle.
Yeah, it's
that shit had me like this, bro. It wasn't a feeling that I had ever felt before.
It's different.
But she's, doing this, but she's down there doing something.
So now you got double sensations.
Not in, right there. And I'm just sitting there like tweaking, like what?
Can't move, can't nothing.
Yeah, the shit was like C-3PO got his battery pulled. I was just like,
C-3PO is crazy. Nah, it's real. It's like a magic button. It's no joke. Because when you press it, it definitely causes that reflex, but it can be pleasurable. So it's like I always say, I can't, men don't get touched in a lot of places. And I think that's what leads to it. But on top of it, y'all got to explore your erogenous zones. You have to touch his body. You have to touch his neck, touch his arms, that crack and that crevice right here. You have to come up behind his leg with your hands or your nails past the cup of his knee. Just start at the bottom of his leg and just come up like that with your fingers like that. That sensation, passing. Nah, real talk. That
keep talking like that, girl. Touch me and
you gotta do it. While you're doing the massage, you could do it with the oil and all of that good stuff. But as you come up past the knee and the back, use your hands to kind of come across it gently like that. It's gonna send a little shot up. Also above y'all penis. A lot of times y'all don't realize if you kiss gently right there, if he's manscaped well or whatever, kiss gently there. Do things like that. Heat. If you put something warm right there, that helps the blood flow for the penis. That can also help him get revved up and whatnot. Yeah, right above it. Right above it. A lot of people just go straight for
on the hair part or like
right where the hair grows. Yeah.
Put some heat on that.
Yeah. If you put, I'm telling you, try. Even if you want to test it out, you could take a cloth, put a little hot water on it, bring it out, and just sit it on top and watch the sensation you feel. Just instantly, you're gonna feel like, you know what I'm saying? So touch their bodies. You have to. Men are touch the problem. And I found that when we start touching your bodies, even if y'all are not discovering the problems, I'm gonna notice it. I notice when he got a breakout or a rash or something before he might notice it because I'm looking at that body. I want to see everything. So I agree. We do need to help y'all because we can't see everything ourselves. But y'all gotta also start mapping that. Yeah. But in the spirit, because we can do this all day. I asked you those questions because the two things that I want to talk about are ways to kind of help the guys take care of themselves a little bit better. And I find that...
What's that stuff that you gave me to put on my nuts? I'm sorry.
No, you good. Sugar daddy.
Be smelling so good.
Sugar daddy, yeah. Sugar daddy.
Yo, I go pee and now I'm like...
You can smell it on your stuff still.
Like so you can really smell sugar daddy.
Yeah,
and y'all saying that you can't even taste it because she hasn't licked the balls yet.
Nah.
I wanna get down there so she'd be like, yo, this shit smells
like it smells like a lemon pound cake. I'm telling you that.
Yo, shout out to whatever product they got around here. This one, it's one of these little...
It look like that. Yeah, we have the hot cake sugar daddy.
Fellas, if you're listening right now, look, they spray it on it. You can spray it on your nuts. It's on there for like 12 hours. And you can actually... Bro, they don't taste it. So you're literally just walking around, your dick smell like a cheesecake, and you know how they are with food, bro. Let them get a whiff of that, bro. And yo, I just haven't been home yet.
You know how they are with food is crazy, but it's true.
It's real.
It's real.
I be like, yo, that's
kind of make you a little.
It's crazy.
You just.
And they can't taste it, so they gonna be down there just chomping because they looking for the cheesecake. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's real talk because anytime that formula is not, and it helps you from having the bacteria. But I feel like so. I'm happy you brought that up because the first step to y'all getting to the doctor is y'all just caring about your cure-it-all, right? One thing I always say, during the podcast, we always like to adult edutainment, make sure you guys learn a little bit about products. You see here, okay, up in the center, a whole bunch of BK for men stuff, and that's the grooming stuff, which I know you're very familiar with some of it. My personal favorite when it comes to the men's products, maybe there's two, is the head to toe and the pragmatism. Now, I don't know if you've ever experienced the beard oil?
No, I have the beard oil. I have the beard oil.
You have the beard oil? Okay.
Wait,
so
give me more. You could never have too much beard oil.
That's for you right there. Yeah. So with the beard oil, I always say with this one, it's called pragmatism. It's a conditioning beard oil. This is really good also to just massage into the face because it's a conditioning element in it that's going to moisturize the skin. That's going to help with sometimes, you know how under there guys get the shave bumps and all those types of things or whatever. The skin under your hair also needs to be cared for, right?
Yo, this stuff is so good, bro.
You don't need a lot of pragmatism.
You see, you know how you go to the beauty supply store? The oil is oil.
Yeah.
This is not oil.
No.
This is, what is this?
So everything you'll see with here on the ingredient base, but it is an oil, but they're not heavy oils. It's hemp seed. Oh, bro. Yeah, dripping it. Okay.
This is not, I wish I could do more, but this is like
It's much lighter.
It's like nut. Sorry.
It's like when you got your face down there and
my face on. I'm like, it's like nut.
But the smell is.
It's amazing.
The smell is.
And you
nice.
walk
There's
around
no
with this on your face. Oh God! And I pick up garbage. All the ladies gonna be stopping their cars now.
You stupid. But I always tell people that our beard oil is not just for the fragrance, but it's going to give you a good moisture, it's a good luster. Your beard will feel so soft, right? Because we like seeing it, but when you touch it and you can tell that thing has been maintained, hands down. So I would say, Father's Day is coming and all that kind of stuff. Or if you're just trying to, it don't even have to be an occasion. Let's just... let's go forward. Let's get rid of doing it for special occasions. Let's just do it, right? Because that's why one day, you care, but then it goes, no, we got to care every day. So I would say that the Eros hands down, a collection or whatever the case is, hands down, head to toe. Let me tell you how I started selling head to toe in the beginning to women.
Really?
Hands down.
Does it smell so good?
It wasn't even just that. It was like, one of the ways that I would talk about it is I would say, you know how sometimes when they come to bed, if they don't have feet that have been well maintained, you can hear the heels against the sheets going,
right.
Just messing up your thread count, that very expensive thread count, just get hear it. I got a silk duvet and it just be like that's all I hear. So I started talking about how, we don't necessarily love when y'all feet are like that, but that's probably one of the areas that y'all are on the most, but care for the least. So I love head to toe, hence it being something you can use for your hair down to your feet, just to put on your heels, right? I had a customer of mine who was using it and showed me his results. It was like, you couldn't even tell it was the same foot. Couldn't tell it was the same foot. I hands down say that's one that's good for that moisture rich. Other than that, I would tell you guys, the men's grooming collection at BK is not to be slept on. It's the face scrub. We have the fine scrub, which is there. With the whole set. So if you're looking for something to gift for a father or just to gift somebody you love, get the BK for Men grooming collection.
Don't worry about what she's talking about. I'm a man. I'm telling you right now. I've gotten no better presents, right? Like, you get ties, you get socks, you get things that people want for you, but they're not things that you might really value. You get this shit, and this stuff, and you feel like you actually have a level up in life. That's what BK products are, and I'm really not trying to sell it to you. I'm trying to help you. I promise you. Start off with just the head to toe. When you go into it, like, it's like my first time getting mango body butter, and I was like, yo, what is this? But it's a whole nother level because the shit got pheromones in it. It has pheromones in it. Women like it.
And men,
like, yo,
you like it. You might not realize it, but the reason why you like it is the pheromones. Like,
that's why I'm on it like this, talking like this.
Yeah.
Because the pheromones is fucking with me.
That's my.
Look at that. Look at that.
My little luster right there. That's a little bit. I only took a tiny bit, but it's pheromones in it. So you can. And mine won't smell the same as you. So you could put this on your hand right now. I could put this on mine. We could smell each other's hands later. It's going to smell completely different. I got female undertone, like pheromones are going to take me. It's going to smell a little softer. I have a lot of women who use it because they say it reminds them of black ice. But like you said, the pheromones. So if you put that on and you having a day where you get up in the morning, you're feeling groggy, you don't feel like the day. You put that wash, you hit the spray, you put that on. After that, you walking out the door like
you feeling yourself, bro.
I'm telling you. Right, I'm telling you. I wonder
why I talk and act the way I am. Yeah. Nigga, sometimes you deserve to be a baddie too. You know what I'm saying? Get your beard all, put that shit in, rub your shit in. Go to little something, what's the name? The sugar daddy? I need to name it something different. Go to sugar daddy on your nuts.
You're the sugar daddy.
I know.
Because now you're,
I ain't care. And then throw the head to toe on your skin. You walk out the house feeling like
that's it,
bro.
That's real. It. If you really want to top it off, use the spray after. Yeah. But you got to put that on your body, not on your clothes, because it don't do what it's supposed to do unless it touches skin. I'm telling you, but it's a great gift set if you just wanted to they got the face scrub. You could use that for that. Don't use that down here. Use that on your other parts of your skin. But, it's a little bit more, to get the exfoliation going. But bottom line is right now, and this is what we're doing this month, to help you guys take care of the dads, you buy the gift set or whatever the case is, you spend $100, you're going to get a grooming set for free. So this grooming kit, it comes in a pouch like this, right? And inside the pouch, you're going to have the brush. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Sorry.
Look at this guy. Feeling himself. You're going to have a brush in there. You're going to have the comb. You're going to have the trimmers for maintenance. It's easy to kind of tuck, these things in for when you're traveling to go. So you come with this nice little bag that is a nice travel size sort of situation. So that comes free right now when you shop and buy anything for $100. So whether you want to get him something mild or soft, or whether you're trying to go all the way, you want to bust out this bad boy, you want to get that Sidekick.
Uh-oh.
This is my baby. It's ASMR, honestly. Like, I just sit here and do this.
Bro.
Listen to, I just sit there and go like that. So sensual. But this right here going on in there. I know a couple of these get torn up, right? Because
I got 2 of them. I got 2 of them.
Honestly, Sidekick is one of my favorite ones to tag team in.
Have you ever turned that inside out for them?
Oh, this way.
Did you see?
So they can see the ridges on the inside?
Don't look at the ridges, bro. Look at the ridges, bro. With some lube, you lube that thing up. Bro.
You lube it up. You can even use it this way too.
Gangsta.
Have you tried that?
Nah, I've never tried it like
because if you do it inside out, you're getting the other ridges here.
The other ridges. Mm-hmm. Yo, let me find out.
You can use it both ways.
I got 2 other ridges.
Yeah. Yeah, you turn it inside out. But yeah, you put that in there, and I'll tell you, once you put a little bit of lube, and I'm not even using lube, and my finger goes real in kind of comfortably or whatever. Y'all see the stretch?
And it squeezes until even when it's over.
Yeah.
Bro, when it's over, the squeeze is crazy.
It's funny because when
squeezing the shit out your shit, like, you be like, you trying to take it off.
When you pulling it off, it's grabbing you all the way to the tip, right?
Way, like,
when she finally take her mouth off kind of feeling, right? And you can finally process that it's over.
Bro, I be shaking.
Oh, man, I be teasing with that.
I was thinking about doing OnlyFans. I want people to see the shake. I want people to see that.
What you be hitting with the...
Yo, what?
I'm not even going to lie, because I think we got a little jerk reaction too, because when I'm coming... Oh, man. I didn't even know.
Right.
I ain't even know. I surprised myself one time just filming it for me and then watched it back and I was like,
yo,
I don't know who I became. Next thing you know, I'm talking to myself. I'm like, wow. You such a nasty bitch. Oh, you could take it. I'm telling myself all of this. I don't even need no. I'm over here smacking my own. I'm over here like,
Slut Me Out.
I'm telling myself. I think I was using the womanizer, that little sucker right there. I was over there and I was just like, oh, every time I went up another level, I'm like, you better not. Mm-mm. You better not tap out, you nasty bitch. And I'm like, who am I talking to? Who am I talking to?
She said, give me that pussy.
And don't hold nothing back. Give me that wet. It was real, but I tell you this, I want to close with one more thing, Tahoe, because although I always talk about, this is about you guys. We want to make sure you've seen the men's things. And I did mention erectile dysfunction. We have something called Stamina. This is a male prolonging spray. You don't have to ingest it. You just get hard, spray it. You're going to get about 15, 20 more minutes in there.
Get out of here.
15, 20. You let it dry for about 60 seconds, topical, right? And I promise you, you still going to feel... but you're going to last a little longer, right? So you can use it for that marathon night. And because it's topical, it doesn't last longer. You know how people take things and the rest of the night.
It's safe for the women. They don't feel
This is literally formulated for that. And you guys can always check out our ingredients. I always tell you guys, drop the ingredients in any AI or Google or whatever and ask, are these ingredients
safe? I
promise you, you're going to see results that let you know. And if you're ever not sure, I always tell people, tell your doctor, ask your doctor, can I use this? But you hit it with that spray on top, let it soak in about 60 seconds on the surface, and he gonna last a little longer. So if you are experiencing a little bit of that, we got something for that too. Bottom line, we want to keep y'all cared for. We want to keep y'all getting pleasure. That's really what it comes down to. But in a spirit of keeping things even and equal, I thought about this just because of you and just because of that clip. When I was talking about making sure, it's balanced and it's both your responsibility. I haven't talked about these games and things, right? These sex dice right here, right? On one of them is going to have a location and the other one's going to have an action.
Oh.
Right? So if you want to keep it leveled, right? And the way you would play this game is very simple. Roll a dice and whatever it rolls, y'all both determine how much time you got to carry out each thing. But for whatever comes on that dice for the next, for 5 minutes, you got to run it. So if I roll a dice and it comes right here, it says, touch my nipples. And that means you got to get to the nipples. Bing. Don't think the dice don't get a little crazier because it does have between the legs, the toes, the neck, all those other spots. Blow, lick, massage, suck, touch, kiss, all of the different things on the neck. So you roll the dice and y'all literally, and then y'all switch. Next person roll it. So each person gets the same amount of pleasure, or y'all do the card games. Now, I did pull out a card because I was curious about this one. Speaking of masculinity real quick. This is our Delicious Encounters oral sex deck. Mm-hmm. It's like 50-something oral sex positions and things.
Oral sex positions?
Positions, tips, techniques,
There's
tricks.
50 oral sex positions?
Yeah, and it's a few different games. It has like 3 game cards in here that you could play right here.
How found them all?
It's a pretty interesting deck.
You crazy.
This particular one had me cracking up. And this one is called the Love Bites from the deck. I'm gonna get y'all. I'm gonna have to give y'all the image of this card, right? But I'm curious about whether you would do what's on this card.
Let me see.
I want you to really pay attention to what's happening right there.
Oh, sitting on her face?
Yeah.
Lay on your back with your knees bent and instruct him to kneel on top of you while leaning against your leg. Hey.
So essentially, you know how sometimes when a woman mounts a guy, she's riding his face forward like he's here? It's basically you feeding her face while she's the one. Would you do it?
So you leaning back like this? But see, my man's shoot up though.
But she's okay, so she can always have her head like on a pillow.
She would have to.
Yeah.
She would have to, because my mans don't play no games.
But would you do it?
Yeah, nigga, I've sat on her face before just for fun. Butt ass naked.
I would have died to be a fly on that wall. It's a whole nother view.
Look, a seat. Look, you got that lips.
Yeah, I gotta get Tahoe out of here, y'all. I gotta get Tahoe out of here. Because if he say one more thing, all in all, guys, if you guys are interested in taking care of the guys, y'all gotta introduce the care to them, introduce the grooming to them, introduce the pleasure to them. Bottom line, if you don't know how to keep things even in the bedroom, play a game, make it fun, have a good time and go off. Pleasure is for everybody. That's right. Okay, we're gonna close the pleasure gap on both ends, and that's really what this conversation was about, but also for y'all to have awareness to check on y'all guys. Check on the men in your life. Make sure that they're really good. Don't take the surface answer. Don't take the first answer they give you. Ask them again and tell me if you could tell me how you truly feel with no consequence or no repercussions by me, what would you say? Mm-hmm. Ask that question, because a lot of them out here is stressing and they ain't performing, not because they got some medical issue going on, but because they stressed and you're possibly a part of the cause. So just rule that out. Let's take care of our men. And this has been this week's episode of the Business of Pleasure podcast. I got to give it up and say thank you to Tahoe for coming and blessing us with his openness and transparency and sitting on facedness. Shout out to BK. And you know, Tahoe is BK family. So anybody checking us out, watching this, make sure y'all get what y'all got to get y'all products, because I know y'all gonna want what we got. Get this free kit though. It's free.
That's right.
It's free. Talk to y'all later.